Ghired Mirror of the Wilds. 1 white, 1 green, 1 red. For a legendary creature, human shaman 3/3 with haste. And then a little bit of a strange ability, but here we go. Non-token creatures you control have tap, create a token that's a copy of target token you controlled that enter the battlefield this turn. So all of your non-token creatures can basically create tokens of all of your token creatures, or to be more specifically, only the ones that came into play this turn. This means that he's similar to a cEDh commander variant, except that he's making all of your creatures into cEDhs. So the big trick that you need is some form of way of making a creature able to activate again. And there are a few creatures that will basically untap other creatures on ETB. For example, Hyrexian Tower Scout. When Hyrexian Tower Scout enters the battlefield, untap target creature. And we all know that this goes naturally infinite with a cEDh. So what we need to do is make a token out of that untapping creature. We can do this with something like Twin Flame. But now we need to explain a few rule details. Now let's read this commander again. Creature token, create a token that's a copy of target token you control that enter the battlefield this turn. The token doesn't gain haste. On cEDh's activated ability, he's giving the token haste. However, Twin Flame will give the token haste. This is the text on Twin Flame from the official Magic the Gathering's website, so here it reads: if another creature becomes or enters the battlefield as a copy of the token of the Twin Flame, that creature will have haste. But if you won't exile it, however, if Twin Flame creates multiple tokens of a single creature due to a replacement effect, like doubling season, you will exile each of them. What this is emphasizing is that if you're creating a token out of the token that you, once again, yeah, the token of the token. Yeah, it's literally the token of the token. So when Twin Flame creates a token, that token will have haste. And if you create a copy of that token that Twin Flame generated with haste, the new created token will also have haste, as it is a copy of the Twin Flame token. I hope you understood that. I guess I could be wrong, but I think that's how it works. What this is opening up is the possibility of having a combination of a 2-card combo where you have one section, the A section, the first section, a few creatures that will basically untap another creature. You have Hyrexian Tower Scout, Feather the Guardian, Celius Conscript, etc. A Village Bell Ringer. There are more other alternatives. Like there's a bunch of different creatures that will basically on ETB untap a creature. And then on the other part, the B part, the second part, you have the token generation effect. Anything that is making a token out of these creatures, but also they have to have haste, will be the thing that is basically enabling the entire concept. And then you just need your commander, which you get from the command zone. And by the way, your commander have haste, so if you cast him the same turn, you can still win. And by the way, if you have a creature in play that already, you also have more variations to like your commander, because your commander is giving this ability to all of your creatures that isn't a token. And this means that you have a lot of different cards in the A part, in the B part, that somehow combines into together, that forms a 2-card combo when you have your commander in play. And that's pretty cool. You basically have a 3-color identity, Naya combination, together with a bunch of different cards that will assemble a 2-card combo. That is honestly pretty good. But he also functions as a sort of value engine as well. Let's say you have a Dockside Extortionist. Let's say you make a token out of Dockside Extortionist with your Twin Flame. This might naturally happen. Now, for every creature you have in play that's not a token that can activate, you can have a secondary Dockside token. And by the way, you actually get to keep these tokens, except if, for example, in Twin Flame's case, they go away at the end step. But if you have a way to generate a token, those ways usually don't come with haste, but in that case, you get to keep those tokens. So even though the value capacity on this commander isn't great, there is something there where he will synergize with a few things here and there. I could see a world where you're starting to potentially include overrun effects, because the possibility of this commander basically is generating a very high critical mass of creatures regardless of whatever creature that is, you could potentially overrun your opponents. Like you could easily play Nature's Will, together with Greater Hoof Behemoth. Eventually you might reach that critical mass point where you just cast Nature's Will for 4 mana, sacrificing a dork, and boom, you have a huge army. I could also see a world where you're playing something like Purphoros, God of the Forge, that says whenever a creature comes into play you will deal 2 damage to all of your opponents. You might not be able to go infinite, but the possibility of just creating an enormous mass of creatures whenever you are creating that one token, all of your non-token creatures will just duplicate that one. Yeah, you should be pushing a lot of triggers into that Purphoros, God of the Forge, potentially. And I like this because it's kind of making the commander a bit open and having options. Also, with Naya Color Identities, you're getting a lot of potential cards to solve a lot of the card drawing problems this commander might have. I would also like to point out that you have the color identity of green, so tutoring for creatures is going to be easy. Tutoring for effects that is making tokens might be tricky. I would highly like to recommend Feldon of the Third Path. This is a red creature, so it's a creature you can tutor for this with your many variations of different green creature tutors. But with Feldon of the Third Path, you can create a token out of any creature inside your graveyard. Feldon will also give that token haste. The token will disappear at the end of the turn, but the token will still have haste. So if you have your commander in play, and if you're creating a token out of, let's say, Great Oak Guardian or Village Bell Ringer, then boom, you're going infinite. Now Feldon of the Third Path and Village Bell Ringer inside your graveyard and together with a few dorks will still go infinite, because you're activating Feldon by tapping a few mana dorks, reanimating Village Bell Ringer, and on ETB untap all of your creatures, including your mana dorks and Feldon of the Third Path, and you can repeat and reanimate or create another artifact token out of the Village Bell Ringer. This will lead to infinite Village Bell Ringer with haste, attack and win. It is a combo that just naturally fits pretty good inside this deck in general. But what about this card inside the 99? There is one specific commander that could really like this, and that is cEDh Weatherlight Captain. You see, cEDh likes legendaries, and cEDh likes to make copies out of Dockside Extortionist. And cEDh, the Weatherlight Captain, already has a beautiful way of achieving that. So let's say that the 5-colored Weatherlight Captain gets a Dockside Extortionist and gets to activate. You're finding Saheeli Rai and the Planeswalker. Use the -2 ability, create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature you control except an artifact legend other types. It gains haste, exile it at the beginning of the next end step. So you're making a secondary Dockside Extortionist from the cEDh activation. So now you get to activate cEDh again and find Ghired, Mirror of the Wilds. And for every non-token creature you have on the board state that can activate, you are basically creating a secondary token out of Dockside Extortionist, resulting in an enormous amount of treasures and cEDh activations. The big question is if cEDh really needs it. That is something we're going to figure out over time, as I do believe some cEDh players might be playtesting this and see how it flows, and yeah. We will see over time if this is something that sticks inside a 5-colored legendary Weatherlight Captain's 99. So as a finalized review, I think this commander actually has potential. I do believe that there's going to be a few people that is building this and bringing it to tournaments. And I think they're going to have a okay success. As I have started to try to predict the potential win rate of various cards, because I think that's a good way to showcase the finalized review, I'm going to place the win rate on this somewhere around 18 to 19. I was going to say 19, but I'm actually going to hedge and place it somewhere between 18 to 19. I definitely think this is something that is going to be able to win a few games here and there, but I think in the end it might be struggling a bit as well. It's not like perfect. Naya is actually kind of okay, but it's not one of the dominating color combinations. I definitely think that there's potential in the combo capacity here. It should be able to win quite efficiently and fast. Especially considering you are on green, you can tutor for various combo pieces that you need. But I'm still getting an impression that it's going to be just a little bit too slow. It is going to be outpaced compared to how fast other commanders are basically able to generate a win con. Secondary, I think this commander is going to struggle in dictating the control of the match. Counterspells have been proving to be very effective and dictating and making sure that the right scenario is presenting for you. And yeah, there are a few control magic spells you have in Naya Color Identities, but I still think that you're going to have some problems making sure that those faster combos aren't winning faster than you. But in the end, it should be able to win a few games here and there. That's it for this time. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this little short card review and that you got something out of it, maybe some inspiration or idea of thought. Take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.